As mentioned at the top of the show, there are intense arguments tonight about money to pay for hurricane relief, past, present, and future. Chief White House correspondent John Roberts has that part of the story tonight.
As Hurricane Dorian churns off the Puerto Rico coast, a political tempest erupting between San Juan's mayor Carmen Yulin Cruz and President Trump. After the president tweeted Congress approved $92 billion for Puerto Rico last year, Cruz fired back, Congress has approved $40 billion and $14 billion have been dispersed. To which President Trump replied, Puerto Rico is one of the most corrupt places on earth, adding, and by the way, I'm the best thing that's ever happened to Puerto Rico. In truth, Congress approved $42.7 billion for Puerto Rico. Of that, about $21 million has been obligated and less than $14 billion spent. To get to $92 billion, the president is including an OMB estimate that an additional $50 billion would be needed over the life of the recovery, but it's not money approved by Congress. President Trump also found himself under attack over plans to reprogram money from FEMA's disaster relief fund to address the border crisis. As part of a $271 million shuffle, DHS will use $155 million of FEMA money to pay for temporary immigration hearing facilities on the southern border. Another $116 million will be taken from other agencies to pay for more single adult detention beds. Democrats were quick to condemn the move. In a statement, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi saying to pick the pockets of disaster relief funding in order to fund an appalling inhumane family incarceration plan is staggering, and to do so on the eve of hurricane season is stunningly reckless. White House officials pushed back just as hard.
That's hysteria, and the reality is that this is something that Republican and Democrat administrations do constantly, is to reprogram dollars.
In fact, President Obama did the same thing in August of 2014, shifting even more money to the border crisis. Of a total of $405 billion reprogrammed, $267.6 million came from FEMA's Disaster Relief Fund. Democrats didn't argue with that, but they sure are complaining now. Senator Chuck Schumer saying taking these critical funds from disaster preparedness and recovery efforts threatens lives and weakens the government's ability to help Americans in the wake of natural disasters.
FEMA officials say no, in fact, that is not the case, that the money comes from an account that's dedicated to pre-positioning supplies ahead of a hurricane, and that there's plenty of money in that account to last until the end of the fiscal year. Another account that actually deals with recovery is flush with cash. It has a balance of $27 billion. And I should make a correction, Brett, it was $405 million, not billion dollars, that were reprogrammed in the Obama administration.